I am joined by my dear friend Andrew from Kentucky, again from nice parts of New Church Live. We got congregants all over. And Andrew, where are you joining us from today?
I'm joining you from Shepherdsville, Kentucky.
Shepherdsville, Kentucky, right? It's huge, sprawling metropolis, as I understand. And
It's south of the sprawling metropolis of Louisville. So,
out of Louisville, and a big weekend coming up in Louisville, right?
yes, sir.
It's Kentucky Derby. So, folks, what we're talking about today is the idea of touched by the joy of heaven, and that idea that when we're touched by the joy of heaven, what we're touched by is something this very very purposeful, very deep, very amazing perspective. And it's I like the idea of touch, like literally, it's a touch. It's heaven's up here, and we're touched. And we just get to see a moment of that. And this week's sermon is dealing with the bread of heaven, also known as the song by Beethoven, Ode to Joy. Bread of Heaven, Ode to Joy. Kind of a cool connection there. And so much of life is when we're feeling hollow and we're feeling sort of out of it, and we're feeling like we got an external but no internal. It's just all form, no substance, and it's just kind of bull. What do we do? Well, what we can do is we can remember those moments where we've been touched by heaven. And we're going to look at that Sunday. We're going to talk about a little bit today. Today's really a warm up actually for Sunday service. So I asked my buddy Andrew just to share with us for a minute, just sort of where he has seen that for himself, a time where he has been touched by heaven recently. So, Andrew, what has it been for you?
Back in September, my brother and sister-in-law had their first baby, Avonlea. My sister-in-law is a Anne of Green Gables fan, so that's where they got her name. And leading up to her birth, we had about 3 sessions where the families were able to go in and see a 3D ultrasound be done of Avonlea in different stages of her development. And I remember one session in particular where Aubrey and Aaron, my sister-in-law and brother, who are musicians, were singing to her, and she was kind of just dancing in her mama's belly, and it was so cool. All of us were just like, "Oh man, this is just wild, wild." And then fast forward to now, where she's 8, almost 9 months old, and witnessing her start to form her own words, start to just kind of become more independent, and you see her own personality start to develop. And it's so cool. We had family dinner this past Sunday, and I was holding her and just talking to her, having a full-blown conversation in baby talk, and it was like she knows what she's saying. I don't, but it's so cool, because I think back to all those 3D ultrasounds, seeing her start as this little bean, and now, I mean, she's still a little bean, but in a different sense now. But she's so precious. And the best parts of that, when I'm holding her and she looks up at me and she makes eye contact with me, and she reaches out and just touches my face, and she starts feeling, and she'll feel my beard. Now my beard's growing back out, and she just loves pulling on that, exploring. But those little, just her eyes just light up with almost kind of a knowing sense of love, just overwhelming, just love that's there. And it's so impossible to explain in human terms, right? Child psychologists try their best, but I don't think they scratch the surface of what that little miracle is. So just anytime I'm with her, man, I'm telling you, it's like seeing just a miracle.
Good.
It's so cool, so cool.
Andrew, that's beautiful. And I love that idea of, what we know. And so much when we have that loving perspective, that loving view, we know all there is to know. I mean, in this way that it is, again, completely ineffable, can't put words to it. We touch that transcendent thing. That's what it's all about. So today, folks, like, what we're going to do for comments is something a little bit different here. Is where have you been touched by the joy of heaven? Where do you have a story similar to Andrew's and his niece, where you just, the touch by the, just could sense, boom, heaven right there? Because it's important for us to share those stories, because for all of us, once we share them, again, like that hollow part gets filled in, not just by us, not just by our stories, but by the stories of many, many people. So that's our thought for today, and that will lead into Sunday. So please be thinking about that, folks. Please share this story and figure out a good way to be touched by heaven today. So friends, what we're going to do now is we're going to be doing a little blessing here, and what we're going to be doing is a little prayer, and I just ask you to join me for that. So, friends, let's first off get a big breath. A little meditation from the Old Testament. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I. Be still and know that. Be still and. Be still. Be. Our Father, who art in the heavens, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, as in heaven, so upon the earth. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we also forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you, bring you peace, and bring you home. Amen. All right, friends. So a quick close. Please answer that question. Where have you been touched by the joy of heaven? You may leave your answer either in the comment section of the various social media platforms we are streaming to right now, or you can text me at 215-740-3662. That's 215-743-3662. So, Andrew, thank you, my friend. That was great. Terrific. Wonderful to have you join us. And we will see you folks sometime soon. Take care. Bye-bye. Like our content? It's funded by viewers like you. Please consider becoming a sustaining supporter of New Church Life.